Welcome humans back to my channel. You can see my hands here. I apologize in advance for all the glitter that is already down, but that is because I just did a different video where I did some swatches. But the reason that I did so many swatches today and why my hand is already stained, you will notice, is because when I put a poll up on Instagram asking y'all what you wanted to see, it was a three-way tie. So we're just gonna give you all of them. So today, if you are watching this, this is the day that I filmed this video, which is going to be a Devinah swatch party, and the video where I tried my dupe of the Natasha Denona Yucca palette up against the real thing. So I don't know which one you're going to see first, but you will see both of them, but they were filmed in the same day, which is why I'm stained green from all the comparisons. But without further ado, let's get into it. So as you can see right here, I have a palette. These are all of my Devinah shadows. I took even the ones that were in BYOPs, I pulled them and I put them in here. Why does this look so empty, you ask? Because generally my Terra Moon's shadows are also in here. They're actually sitting right over here on the side right now, and when I'm done, I'm just gonna pop them all back in. But this palette generally houses Devinah and Terra Moons. I tried to separate by color, and what I did here at the bottom was these are the moonscapes, and in addition of a few of the chunkier ones. And you'll see that there are some chunkier ones throughout it, but none are as chunky as these. These are basically pure glitter. They are very, very close to what you might think of as a pressed glitter, even though these are like still a traditional eyeshadow. So what I'm gonna do is do them last just because they leave sparkles all over my arm. You could see I had some of them in my Yucca dupe and they're still all over my arm, but this way I think that we can, alleviate some of that. All right, my phone is in cinematic mode, which means we should be in good shape to focus solely on eyeshadows and not my disgustingly stained hands. But don't worry, they're there. So this one right here, this is Butter Pucker. So you could see that it has like this white, almost yellow base to it. But once you blend it out, it is mostly just that blue sheen. It's really beautiful. I feel that this makes, a really great inner corner highlight, a really great brow bone highlight. But I also really love this just topped over other shadows. Next up, we have a true classic. This is Fairy Fire. If you, have followed anyone who likes Devinah eyeshadows, they have talked about this shadow. Oh, someone's at my door. So I just had a knock on my door and I got up and it was a UPS package, and my fiance has been waiting all day for this new, I believe they're called Shin, this new Shin knife. He's really into cooking, but they gave me a huge ass box. I'll insert a photo here. They gave me this huge ass box and it feels like there is nothing in it. I think that there is a single knife in this giant box. That is all. So Fairy Fire has that yellow base and you can see much more of it in comparison to Bubble Fizz. And then it has these green sparkles in it and it shifts like to gold and green. It is very beautiful. If I were to compare this to any other shadow in my collection, it would actually be Fiesta from Copacetic. I think Fiesta leans more green. Also, the Devinah formula definitely has much more, I don't want to make an assumption of what's in there, but if I had to guess, it has more silicone or dimethicone in it. It is much smoother of a formula than the Copacetic formula. This is Celesta. It's like a gold green. If I were to compare this to any shadow, I would compare it to, oh God, what is it? There's one from Pretties for Your Face that looks like this. I'll put the name on this screen if I could figure it out, but this one is a better version of that. Sorry, Pretties for Your Face. I know I'm an affiliate. So you can see it's like a greeny, antique-y gold with a yellow shift to it. This one has less of a sparkle in it and more of just like a shift. This is Water Mist. This is another one of those really smooth shadows. Kind of like Fairy Fire, how it just, you could feel the dimethicone in it. This one's really interesting to me because it's when it's in the pan, it looks very green, but when you swatch it or blend it out, it looks very much like it was iridescent in the pan. If you've ever owned an iridescent eyeshadow, you kind of get what I'm talking about. Like, you would believe that this came from a white pan. But it has that mint, some yellow and gold in there, and of course, like that white reflect. This is Twinkle Toots. This one is one of the more textured shadows, and it's just like that blue sparkle all throughout. This also makes a really beautiful topper or inner corner highlight. Here is Nerds. This is from the Willy Wonka collection, which just makes me think of the new Wonka movie coming out. It's funny because this one is named Nerds, but if you were like, what is this eyeshadow named? I'd be like, Crystal Lake or something like that. That's what this makes me think of. This makes me think of like a beautiful crystal clear lake. It's that blue, it has some gold glitter in there, you could see. And it shifts gold with the glitter. This shadow is called Swatch. I believe this might also be a Wonka shadow. I don't know if I'm right about that. This one looks very much in texture, a lot like Nerds, but the blue in it leans more what I'd call like a blurble. Like, it's not quite a periwinkle, but it's close to what a periwinkle would be. So this is Rain Tarts. Kinda looks like I might have swatched another shadow or something and then got it on top, but if I flip it this way, you can't tell. But it's weird because not in the camera, this looks pristine, so I'm a little confused on what it's picking up on here. This one is another one that I would believe is iridescent. I would almost compare this to like the Fenty Diamond Bomb. It is truly just like that blue glitter suspended in dimethicone. There is like no base to this. It is a clear base with those flecks of glitter. This is Seance. If you watched my BYOP video where I duped the Shein palette, I think it was called like a vinyl pop palette, this was in there. It's kind of, it has a black base on it, like a lot of, you know, multi and duochromes, but it's kind of what people think of when they think of a true blue, which is interesting because in the viewfinder, it doesn't quite look like that true blue. When it's swatched out, you can definitely see that black base on it. See, it's like that. Oh, well, you focus. I know you're cinematic right now, but don't focus on my arm. Focus on the eyeshadow. There we go. But it is definitely a black-based shadow. You could see the black right there in the back of the swatch, right? But again, it's like many of the other blues that we've looked at. Those little flecks of glitter suspended in a background color or not a background color, but here they are suspended in a black shadow. I love this one. This one's, I mean, I love all these. They're beautiful, but this one like speaks to me on a primal level for some reason. This is Zombie, but it's spelled without the E. Z-O-M-B-I. If I had to describe this, I'd say it's a deep teal suspended in a black base. In this lighting, it doesn't look as teal, but I'm sure you saw in the pan, it is quite teal. This is 347 or 347. Not sure how it's supposed to be said. This one is similar to Seance, but it's more of a cool blue where Seance leans a little purple. But it's also suspended in that black base with a lot of blue and even some silver glitter. This is Midnight Nova. I would definitely call this one like a true periwinkle. It actually looks quite purple in the viewfinder, but in real life it looks quite blue. I think the swatch is pretty representative though, where it goes like blue to purple to pink. You could see all those colors in there. This is Kazuki's. I believe this is also from that Willy Wonka collection I was talking about earlier. This one is like a purple with a pink shift suspended in a clear base. You can see it's mostly just sparkle there. See how like when I turn my arm this way, you can't see the shadow completely? This is Sprinkle Whips. This is what I would call like a light violet. So this is much like some of those blue shadows earlier, but it is just that like violet shimmer with a blue shift. And it's suspended in that dimethicone. It's not like in a base. It's a very clear base to it. I would believe that this is an iridescent eyeshadow. This is another black-based shadow. It's called a Ritual. This one reminds me of Maleficent. Just the color and like the black base. It's that like true deep purple. This is Verdant Frost. I believe this is from the Phantom Orbs collection. This is another one of those like really smooth ones, right? Like you don't see chunks of glitter in there. It's just like very smooth. And it is like a baby pink with a gold shift, like a yellow gold shift. But you could see it's more of one of those smooth swatches. It doesn't have a lot of glitter in it. It's just shifty. This is Sweet Slush. It's one of the chunkier ones. And again, it's one of those like really glittery with no base shadows. Devinah shadows are very interesting to me. Like I can't name another eyeshadow that looks very pink in the pan that comes out like this, you know? This one is Sol Laze, S-O-L space L-A-Z-E. This is another one of those really smooth shadows. But it has that blue-pink reflect in it. And then nothing else. When I turn, you could literally only see my veins. Isn't that nice and disgusting for all of you? This is Pixie Sticks, probably from the Wonka collection, because I believe Pixie Sticks are branded under Wonka. But this is like a true blue pink. I'm looking in the camera and it looks almost like a purpley pink, but this is like a true blue-based pink. This is a pink base with gold glitter, and it has kind of like a yellowy gold shift to it. Kind of similar to one of the pink shadows we looked at earlier, but this one is definitely a piecier, glitterier shadow. It has a base to it. It has that pink base. This is Nocturne Ash. I believe this is from the Phantom Orbs collection. This one is very much like that pinky purple color. I don't know if there's a name for that. Today is the day that you all learned that I just am not the best person to describe color. Like every time I swatch something, I'm like, oh, it's pink. Y'all are like, Yelly, shut up. But yeah, it's like that pinky purple with, you could see in there, there's like some gold sparkle and shift in there, but there's also like little tiny green glitters. I wonder if I get it out of focus if you could see some of them. You see those? Very beautiful. This is Luna Storm. If I had to compare this to a shadow in my collection, I'd say in the pan it looks kind of like Ontaras from Terra Moons, because you could see that like gold to pink going on. It definitely has the same like color spirit, what a weird thing to say, But it has the same like color spirit of Ontaras. It's like that hot pink with like blue and gold shifts. But Ontaras is definitely a chunkier shadow than this, where this has very fine glitter. This is Cygnus. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. This one is, if I don't know if any of you have noticed, but this one is very different from its friends, right? This is like a traditional shimmer eyeshadow. Now it does have a shift, right? You see that pink in there, but it's like a red base. But it doesn't have a lot of that interesting base that Devinah shadows have. This is like, in essence, feels like what I would call a true eyeshadow. Looks like the texture of what I would call a true eyeshadow. This is Midnight Sun, and while it looks black in the pan, it is not. You could see that it's one of those really dimethicone ones from my fingerprint in there. So you can see this is another one of those like really dimethicone ones. There is no glitter in here. Any glitter you see is residual from another swatch, but there is this very slight, let's see if I could build it up. It looks just like an oil slick right now, but there's a very slight red shift to it. I don't know if I could get the camera to see that though. This right here is Mystic Moon Pie. It's a taupe with a blue shift in it. This is Sour Spanx. This is like a cool gold. I can't really explain it. It's not like a rose gold. It's not a silver. If you're like, Yelly, that's silver. It is not a silver. It is like a gold with a cool base. Maybe it's called pewter. I don't know. I think pewter is closer to silver though, but I didn't go to art school. I'm sorry. I literally can't describe colors. I just can't. Now, as much as I really enjoy all of my Devinah eyeshadows, these are my favorite. I would love nothing more than for Devinah to just make every color of the rainbow in these very glittery, oh, look at how disgusting my finger is. Every color of the rainbow in these very glittery formulas, okay? So those of you who know me know I love glitter, and that is why. But these are just so amazing. I cannot speak highly enough of these. This is Air Glow. Look how beautiful. See, this is not a traditional eyeshadow, right? This is like a glitter explosion, but it's not a pressed glitter. Devinah has this very, very unique formula for these. They feel drier. They don't feel like they have as much of that like dimethicone or silicone in them, but they are still an eyeshadow. This one is Earthshine. As you can see, it is just like the last one in texture, but it's green with like little gold flecks in it. This is Lucent Ray. This is like a purple leaning taupe. This is Fire Hunt. This one is like a lighter taupe. Lucent Ray has a very like deep. Lucent Ray is like very deep in comparison to this, but I would call them both kind of like a taupe. This is Moonbeam. This is what I'd call like an old gold. Do you see how much glitter this leaves on my arm, even with micellar water? I love it. Last but not least, this is Pink Flare. So just like its friends, but it is a cool toned pink. Thank you so much for joining me today for a very glittery swatch party. In conclusion, Devinah makes really, really beautiful eyeshadows. Please, please check out the community codes list. There are so many people on there with Devinah codes. I don't know if they're affiliated, but if you want to support a small creator in any way, there are so many amazing creators there who have Devinah codes. Please, please support them. If you like this video, you could give it a thumbs up with your glittery stained hands and very glittery arms. Leave a comment down below. What is your favorite Devinah eyeshadow? Have you ever purchased anything from Devinah? Tell me what you thought of all of the swatches that we did here today. Let me know what you think of cinematic mode. I took it on cinematic mode on my phone as opposed to using my camera because the macro lens in video is bad. I hope you all have a great day or night wherever you are. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay weird. Bye!